Hey, what's going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. And today I want to talk about one particular thing that I don't think habitual marijuana users are aware of. And this is going to be kind of like a like bring you back to earth type of message, okay? And that message is not every moment of every day is going to feel magical and enhanced. All right, because I know for a lot of us, one of the reasons why we like to smoke weed is because it'll take any moment, stress, boredom, frustration, sadness, anxiety, it'll take any time we feel those things and bring it up a notch, right? And in your mind, in a marijuana user's mind, or maybe in anyone's mind, it's like, why wouldn't I want that? Why wouldn't I want every moment to feel, you know, ecstatic or super happy or super zen or whatever? And you're right, man. Like, as much as we can, right? As much as a person can, we'd want to feel that way. Now, the issue is that it is honestly unrealistic to expect that without being on a substance all the time, right? Some of the most successful people I know, something they say is, man, if you know a way to always feel in your personal power, always feel happy, you got to let me know because I've yet to find it, right? And so that's kind of just like, what I've discovered for myself and working with people is that when you're a stoner, you smoke all the time, you have this lifestyle, this expectation that life should feel a certain way all the time. And something that you'll realize when you stop smoking as much is that, oh my gosh, like, how do I deal with boredom? How do I deal with anxiety? How do I deal with stress? And how you deal with that is you got to find a way to deal with it other than smoking weed, other than, running to short-term pleasures all the time. And that's something for you to discover. That's emotional coping strategies is something, in my opinion, that a lot of stoners lack. And so when they don't use weed, they don't know how to get through some of these negative emotions. And so that's just kind of a message I wanted to share with y'all is that part of being sober, which is more like part of being just a human being, is you have oftentimes every day at least one moment of suffering, right? And that could just be boredom or being unfulfilled. And so I guess to ground you a little bit, you're not going to feel high on life all the time. Now the goal is to feel that way as often as you can, right, with your own resources, but smoking marijuana all the time, being on THC all the time gives this false sense of reality. Because when you're on weed, that's not really you being happy, that's you being affected by a substance. Right? And so obviously we want to feel as good as we can, but expecting yourself to never have to just be and sit with stress, that's a skill to work on in itself. And that, for many of us, when we feel stress, even just a little bit of tightness in the body, it's like, oh God, I just want to relax. And fair enough, relaxation is something you could go for. But if you're someone who has been heavily reliant on marijuana to relax you, then you're going to be left wanting because you don't have any other strategies. And so part of this journey to become more independent from marijuana is to have other strategies to help you relax, have other outlets for you to feel better. And that expecting every moment of every day to feel magical and enhanced, that's a child's dream. All right. Do you really think that, for example, when a police officer is being called in to go, check in on a bank robbery, that he wants to feel magical and enhanced? right? That and I get it, man. Like, one of the biggest issues that many of us our stoner selves face is that we've become so reliant on weed that we don't know how to deal with stress. And oftentimes our feelings of stress come from the fact that we're avoiding something, right? There's a problem in our life that we're just not willing to address head on. Yet the solution to the stress is to address the stress. What's stressing me? Oh, I have a test to study for. What would actually relieve it? Me studying. Right? But then instead, it's like, oh, I need to smoke some weed because I just can't deal with this sense of anxiety, right? And so maybe one resource that you guys can look into, and some of you have already asked me about this because I mentioned it a couple times, is this book right here, The Power of Now. In fact, let me open it to a random page and read from it for you. Are you worried? Do you have many what-if thoughts? You are identified with your mind, which is projecting itself into an imaginary future situation and creating fear. There is no way that you can cope with such a situation because it doesn't exist. It's a mental phantom. You can stop this health and life-corroding insanity simply by acknowledging the present moment. Become aware of your breathing. Feel the air flowing in and out of your body. Feel your inner energy field. All that you ever have to deal with, cope with in real life is this moment. Okay? Basically what that passage was saying is that our mind creates these stories and these images that create then anxiety and stress in the body, when really, look around you. Where is the stress, right? And if you didn't already know, our brains aren't programmed for happiness and success. They're programmed for survival, right? And we're talking about, like, back in the day, saber-toothed tiger type of threat. Now, the interesting thing is that our brains, they react to our modern day stresses in the same way as if they were a saber-toothed tiger, right? So if you're stressing out over this paper that's due tomorrow at midnight that I haven't started, your body reacts as if that's a threat to your existence, right? But if you really looked around in the room, is there really a threat there, right? Like, really, are you gonna die because of this test? No, you're not. But your body, it reacts as if you are, right? Because in your mind, there's so much on the line here. If I don't get an A, if I fail, oh my God, right? There's so much on the line, right? When really there's nothing on the line, because you will be alive either way, unless this test like includes. Anyway, so hopefully that was helpful. The takeaway messages here are: not every moment of every day is going to feel magical. All right. And the number two thing is, it is in your best interest to study either this book or other books that really dive into how the mind works. And because the mind is one of our biggest enemies, or can be one of our biggest friends, right? It just depends. Are you serving it, or is it serving you, right? Anyways, I hope everyone is doing well. Hope you all had a great weekend. And until next time, I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.